Welcome back, wrestling fans, ladies and gentlemen, to another new episode of the Within the Ropes podcast. This is episode 1, sort of like a flagship show. I guess if you want to call it that. This is episode 1. We're mixing things up. We're changing things up, doing things a little different. I went the week just kind of sitting back, chilling, watching a bunch of wrestling and watching the shows, and just kind of, instead of reviewing all the shows, I just kind of wanted to sit back and wait and do one big episode to talk about Raw, NXT, SmackDown, AEW, Impact, all that good stuff, and everything else that's happened throughout the week in the wrestling news. And yeah, there was a lot that went on this week, and I'm not going to waste too much time with this lackluster intro. It's been a while, guys. Bear with me. It's been a while since I was going, every single day. I went from reviewing wrestling shows every single day to basically not doing it for an entire week and waiting to do this. So here we are. First, I want to say thank you to everybody tuning in. Make sure you guys follow Within the Ropes on Twitter and Instagram at Within the Ropes, Facebook.com/Within the Ropes Podcast, Within the Ropes Podcast.com. Subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. Go to the YouTube, click on all icons, do all that stuff. Y'all know what to do. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. And let's talk about these WWE releases. I'm sure, like me, all of you have heard and about the WWE releases, but I'm just going to go through them once again and kind of give you guys my thoughts on everybody that's gotten released. I guess you could say my thoughts or predictions as to why. I mean, I know there's a lot of speculation out there as to why a lot of these people got released. So on Friday, as you all know, WWE released 12 or 13 NXT stars, starting with Bobby Fish, Bronson Reed, Jake Atlas, Ari Sterling, Kona Reeves, Leon Ruff, Stefan Smith, I'm not sure how he pronounces it, Tyler Russ, Zachary Smith, Asher Hale, Giant Zangier, and Mercedes Martinez. Now, this was an absolute shocker. It was a surprise. One, because it happened during SmackDown, like in the middle of the show, completely interrupted me watching it or paying attention to it. Kind of wasn't into it that much already to begin with, just because of the silly booking that was happening, and you all know. But let's talk about these releases. First, I want to talk about Bobby Fish. I know that it's a shocker because he was a part of the Undisputed Era, and I know many of you, like myself, probably thought that he would probably be one that never got released. I didn't think any members of the Undisputed Era would ever get released, just because they've brought so much to NXT. They've brought so much to that brand. They were a huge part of the success over the last few years. And so it was shocking to me to see that Bobby Fish was released. But let's be honest about a few things. And look, I'm just going to put a disclaimer out there. I don't think anyone should lose their job. I don't think anyone should be, getting fired, for any reason, right? Well, not for any reason, but for no reason at all. Bobby Fish was just on NXT on Tuesday in a match with Roderick Strong. So, my son, even when I told him that he got released, he was like, he was just in a feud. Well, wasn't he? He was in a feud, right? So that's why it's a shocker, other than the fact that he was a former Undisputed Era member. But let's be honest, Bobby Fish has been injured time after time after time again. And so aside from all the other reasons out there that people are putting together and all the speculation of oh, well, budget cuts, or we'll talk about the reasons why, at least what's out there, what's being said out there, the reasons why they made these cuts. But I mean, Bobby Fish was somebody who basically couldn't stay healthy. And I've said this time and time again. I said this about Finn Balor on my other podcast I used to do. I said it multiple times there that when you're injury prone, or when you're away and you have to continue to take time, I said it about Samoa Joe, you have to continue to take time off. It kind of kills everything for you. Like, no, it doesn't matter how good of an athlete you are, how good of a superstar, how good of a wrestler you are. I feel like if you're injured, especially in the WWE, it's next man up. Like, that's the mentality that they have. That's the mentality that they should have. And I feel like, honestly, I'm surprised Bobby Fish was there this long. As many times as he's been injured, hell, he's one of the reasons Roderick Strong was even put in the group like he was in the first place, because Bobby Fish was injured. And, obviously Adam Cole was North American champion. Adam Cole was kind of playing both roles. He was North American champion and he was tag team champion. So when they pulled the trigger on Roderick Strong to become a part of the Undisputed Era, that was already like, okay, is Bobby Fish losing his position? Is he losing his place? Right? So that was one thing. And I don't remember exactly what injuries he had or how many times, but I know he got injured a few more times after that. So I'm actually surprised that he stayed this long. When I look at the landscape of NXT and what they've been doing in terms of the breakout tournament and, the addition of the Diamond Mine, or if you will, or whatever's left of it, and we'll get to that in a minute. But just the fact that it seems like they're doing a breakout tournament. It seems like, well, at least it seemed like they were ushering in a new breed, going in a new direction. I seen that. I felt that way. I know a lot of people, a lot of other podcasters, a lot of other, members of the wrestling internet, whatever community, whatever you want to call it, don't feel that way. A lot of people didn't think that NXT was going in the right direction, or I felt like NXT was going in the right direction. I feel like they were going up. I feel like they were getting back to that old, getting back to their old self, right? But, yeah. So like I said, I'm surprised Bobby Fish stayed this long. He didn't really fit with what's going on in the company right now. I feel like Roddy's got something going on. O'Reilly's got something going on. Adam Cole's got something going on, and we'll get to him and the contract rumors and negotiations and stuff in just a few minutes as well. But another name that they released was Bronson Reed. Now, I'm extremely surprised that they released Bronson Reed, because, I mean, what was it? Just 4 months ago, he became North American champion. And then there was word that Vince McMahon was looking at Bronson Reed and Karrion Kross, and Bronson Reed was even one of these guys that have been working dark matches. Before we got crowds back, he was working main event in the Thunderdome. I believe he did that for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And so it looked like he was on his way to the main roster, especially when he lost the North American Championship to Isaiah Swerve Scott. I thought, okay, he's out of here. He's going up to RAW or SmackDown. But obviously that's not the case. Bronson Reed was one of the names that got released. He was actually one of the names that I saw first when all this went down. I was looking at my Twitter, and all of a sudden he said, it just got released from WWE. This monster is back on the loose. You don't know what you've just done. And he hashtagged WWE. And then he added AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan, and Ring of Honor. So it's obvious that he's extremely emotional, extremely upset about being released. I would be too. I didn't think he did anything wrong. I didn't think that, his releasing is honestly more shocking than Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman, when he got released, I won't say that I expected it or I looked at it like, oh, I seen this coming. But when he got released, it's just like, well, what else is he doing? You know, like he's not really a fan favorite, if you will, I guess. And I don't know if that's because of booking or if that's just because he's just Braun Strowman. I mean, what else can you do with a guy like Braun Strowman? And some could argue and say you could do a lot. I'm not going to argue. It is what it is. We'll see if and when he ever steps back in the ring with whoever, whatever company. But Bronson Reed, man, that's unfortunate, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be wrestling somewhere for somebody very, very soon. I know that NXT has a 30-day no compete. I don't know if that's different for each individual. I just know, especially from the reports, that NXT has 30-day non-compete. So in the next 30 days, I'm pretty sure we'll see him somewhere. Jake Atlas was another guy who surprised me. I thought Jake Atlas was honestly someone who I thought could be big time for them in the future. I love Jake Atlas's finisher. When I first saw Jake Atlas on NXT, I was like, wow, fantastic finish. Great charisma. And honestly, Jake Atlas, I mean, it's just like, damn, when you see the reports and you think, okay, the NXT is going in a different direction. They want younger stars. They want this and that. Just like Jake Atlas is, I mean, that's as young as you're going to get right there. Young, hungry, motivated, company guy, seems like, and will just work. I mean, and it goes back to, I remember I commented on something that Dave Meltzer had said. Let me see if I can find it here. Dave Meltzer had said something last year in regards to Jake Atlas, and I thought he was crazy. I was like, what? So Dave Meltzer said he thinks Jake Atlas made a very bad career choice. If it wasn't bad enough that he was getting squashed, he was getting buried and squashed. And he says that if he was in AEW, he would be legitimately one of the biggest stars there. And I replied and was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? But now looking at it, I'm just like, and then also seeing AEW, I mean, it's been a year since he said that. Seeing AEW in the year's time and understanding and knowing the direction that they're going in and seeing all the young stars over there, I agree. I think Jake Atlas would have done much better in AEW. At least I'd like to think. But then, I look at, I don't know, they got so many young guys and girls over there, and it seems like they're all just getting stuffed on AEW Dark and AEW Elevation. And, with Rampage coming next week, you can only hope that, hopefully that they'll find some time and find some room for these, young guys and girls. But Jake Atlas was a surprise. Not to be long-winded on Jake, but yeah, pretty crazy about that. Kona Reeves, been in NXT forever. I'm actually surprised he lasted this long as well. Don't really know what the future holds for him. Didn't really get to see him in the ring that much, but another guy who has a great deal of talent, charisma, all that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with Kona. Leon Ruff was definitely a surprise. Somebody who was used heavily during the pandemic in both Raw and in NXT. He got the shit kicked out of him multiple times as an enhancement talent, as a jobber, if you will, on Raw. And then even in NXT, I mean, Triple H made that guy, he booked him to look like a complete, superstar after getting the upset win and becoming North American champion, and then having banger matches on takeovers with Isaiah Swerve Scott, and he had I believe he had the triple threat. It was him, Gargano, and I want to say Bronson. I'm not too sure. I forgot, but Yeah, man. Leon Ruff was a definite shocker. Tyler Rust was probably another big one up there with Bronson Reed, considering that Tyler Rust was someone who just re-debuted with Roderick Strong, Malcolm Bivens, Suzuki, and for the Diamond Mine. And Malcolm Bivens has said something about him being the young upstart. I forgot the exact word that he said, but he said he was like the young upstart, and it's just crazy to me how someone could be wrestling and then 3-4 days later, they're like fired. They're not there anymore. They're fired. It's crazy to me. But yeah, Tyler Rust, man, that's another guy, in my opinion. I mean, from what I've seen with him in NXT, even before he joined the Diamond Mine, when he was just alone with Malcolm Bivens, I thought he was cool. He seems like another guy that would thrive in AEW. As far as Stephon Smith, he was a referee there. I think one of maybe 2 African American referees or black referees, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, man. It's unfortunate. I mean, you hate to see people like that, lose their job, but it is what it is. Asher Hale. I don't know if most of you are familiar with Asher Hale, but is another 205 Live guy. So it seems like even more. I mean, if you look at 205 Live's roster on the WWE website or what or if there is a 205 Live roster still, it's not very many people. It's probably like 5 or 6 people. I mean, unless they add some of these guys that are from like the breakout tournament. I don't know. But yeah, Asher Hale, Mercedes Martinez. This was another shocker. Last time we seen her, she was in a match with Xia Li. Looked like she was hurt. Her ribs or whatever it was. I'm not sure what it was, but it looked like she was hurt. I believe that she was with she had did some like run-ins with AEW for a minute, and then she chose to come back to NXT, and now she's gone again. So, and I felt like she could have been and should have been a huge part for NXT in the women's division in the future, even in the present, man. I feel like even now, like she should have been more of a focal point, more of a focus in the women's division. Shit, even Raw and SmackDown could have used her as well. But yeah, Mercedes Martinez and everybody else, man, it sucks. It really does suck to see that it happened during SmackDown. I know Mark Henry had something to say about it on Busted Open Radio. It's just a weird situation, especially when people are trying to enjoy SmackDown or even their colleagues, their friends and people who, were wrestling that night on SmackDown. Like how can they focus? How, I'm sure the locker room was buzzing. I'm sure even the crowd, I'm sure everyone's probably looking at their phones and they're like, whoa, like what the hell's going on? And that kind of took away from the show. I don't know why they did that right in the middle of SmackDown. They could have waited, but you know how it is. It's just business, they say, right? Another name that was a surprise. Last Saturday, July 31st, Bray Wyatt was released. And this was weird because he was cleared to compete, and apparently they had like plans for him I guess soon, maybe for SummerSlam or after SummerSlam or something. There was creative plans for him. And I guess allegedly or apparently signed a new deal in 2020. So, yeah. And I mean, I know that the new deal signing thing really doesn't matter. I mean, as several people signed new deals last year and the year before, and a lot of those people are gone now. So I know that doesn't really mean much. But Bray Wyatt, man, the Fiend, is no longer in WWE. And I know that hit a lot of people hard. It hit me hard. It kind of shuffled my day because it came out of nowhere. And I know a lot of people, when that happened, it went, everyone immediately went back to what Vince McMahon said on the, I don't know, it was conference call or media call, or it was like a finance call or whatever you want to call it. And he was asked about AEW and about if they're competition, and he said no, he doesn't think that they're competition. And then he went on to say, I'm not so sure what their investments are as far as their talent is concerned. Perhaps we can give them some more. And so I know a lot of people didn't like that, especially with Bray Wyatt getting released. Like the next, when was this? It was the same week. And I know it was the same week, or, if not the day after or something like that. So, yeah, man, Bray Wyatt being gone is crazy. I know a lot of people are wanting him to go to AEW. A lot of people are wondering if he'll even return to the ring. We'll just have to wait and see, man. I know a lot of people, and stop this, man. A lot of people are out there talking about his mental health. Look, we don't know about his mental health. We don't know what he's feeling, what he's thinking. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the Brody Lee stuff hit him really hard. Like, how do you know? You don't know this man personally. You don't know anything about him and the relationship and how hard he took the Brody Lee death. Like, you don't know. So I hate when I read stuff like that from, crazy ass accounts on Twitter that say, he really took the death really hard. And come on, man. It's all just he say, she say at this point. We don't really know. So, but I hope Bray as well. And I hope he does what he feels makes him happy. And I hope he goes wherever he wants to go and what best fits him, whether that be AEW or, Ring of Honor or New Japan or anything, whatever. But moving on from that, I want to talk about Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey put out a tweet. I believe it was earlier this week. I believe it was a Tuesday. She said, and I quote, "I've seen you same fans chanting 'We want Wyatt' last night, chanting 'We want beach balls' over Bray Wyatt performing. If the WWE treated him like he was expendable, it was because you ungrateful idiots did first." Now, I can't say that I disagree with her. I think she's right. She's right on a lot of levels. Like, and I try to say this sometimes. I've said this in the past, and I've heard other people say this, and people always, get people who feel this way mixed up with, oh, you're just WWE shill, or, oh, it's not the fans. Look, I'm not saying it's the fans 100%, but I will say if a guy or a girl is in the ring and they're busting their ass to entertain in front of you fans, us fans, really, because I'm a fan as well. And we're just out there chanting CM Punk, we want beach balls and all this and this and that. What do you think that's going to look like to the higher ups and the people in charge? Yeah, I know, freedom of speech. You want to go to a wrestling show and be able to express yourself however way you want to, have fun however way you want to, do whatever you want to do. But how is that going to look from the higher ups business wise? Like you think they're going to look at Bray Wyatt and say, all right, I mean, aside from the fact that he was a big money draw and he sold a lot of merch, right? He was super popular. Of course he's going to sell merch, right? But, and I will say, a lot of you guys that are out there saying that, oh, Bray Wyatt, I can guarantee you most of y'all didn't support and buy the merch when it was out. Y'all didn't buy the gloves. Y'all didn't buy the masks. Y'all wasn't in the crowd supporting Bray 100%. All you did was bitch and complain about the lighting in his matches being red. What if that was his idea? Let's just be honest. What if that was Bray Wyatt's idea? And that goes, in hand with what Ronda was saying. Like, everybody's chanting, we want Wyatt, but when he was performing, all you guys did was complain about the Hell in a Cell light being red or his matches, the lights being red. Like you're fucking blind, like you can't see. Like, come on, man. Like he's out there. This is his art. This is what he loves doing. What if the red lighting was what he wanted to do? We don't know. And if there's a report out there that says, you know, that it was Vince's idea and Bray Wyatt didn't like it or whatever, then okay. Show it to me at Within the Ropes on Twitter. Let me see it. Then I'll say, my bad, I'm wrong. But until then, what if it was Bray Wyatt's idea? You know? I get it. A lot of the decisions, booking-wise, was gross. It was stupid. You know, him and the no contest at Hell in a Cell. But that ain't his fault. Right? The loss to Goldberg. That ain't his fault. Right? I mean, I don't know. Aside from just Bray Wyatt, though, I mean, it happens with a lot of performers. It happens with a lot of wrestlers. It happens all the time. I mean, a lot of you say WWE doesn't listen to the fans, but maybe, you know, I think they do. In some areas, they do. They listen to fan reaction. And, you know, which, I don't know, I'm not going to get too deep into fan reaction and all that because now they're piping in crowd noise and everyone's upset and mad. But when you're in an arena full of people who aren't cheering or doing anything, they're not giving any reaction to anything going on, can you blame them? And I know you can look at it from the other way too and say, well, can they do shit that's actually entertaining? Well, yeah, they can and they should do stuff that's more entertaining. But if you, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you have every right to, if you want to pay, you know, $400 for floor seats or you want to fucking pay to have a seat at a WWE event and not cheer and stand there and act like you hate the show, cool. But don't you think they have the right to fucking press a button and make some crowd noise go off? If, I don't know, man. I'm just looking at it like, if I was fucking running the company, what would I do? I don't know. I'm probably going to get a bunch of fucking flack and heat for that, but it is what it is. Ronda Rousey, is she right? Yes, I think she's right in some ways. Do I think she has beef with the internet wrestling community? Yes, I think she's got beef. I think she fucking hates wrestling fans, and I think that's partly why we'll probably never see her in a fucking wrestling ring again. But it is what it is. Let's move on. Let's talk about Adam Cole. Adam Cole's contract. Earlier in the week, Wrestling Inc. Had reported, I believe it was Fightful Select also reported and said that Cole's deal is up after SummerSlam and that it had been on extension following Great American Bash. There was an assumption internally that Adam Cole's WWE contract expired in December, but WWE sources reached out and noted that they became aware that the deal was actually up in early July, which came as a surprise to many at the top of the company, as they only realized shortly before the expiration of the deal. Despite that, they were told that Adam Cole expressed to WWE that he was willing to work through SummerSlam weekend and reevaluate things after that. WWE sources put over the fact that Adam Cole, was being open to doing that as opposed to just showing up on a different program, showing up on AEW, going New Japan or doing whatever without giving WWE any notice. Ding, 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 ding. Adam Cole's a company guy. You want to hold on to guys like that because he definitely could have showed up on AEW after having, his match at a Great American Bash. He definitely could have showed up on Dynamite, but he didn't. The report also says that they're told that there was significant frustration and heat within the company that this came so close to the wire, and that WWE sources again put over Cole for being easy to deal with. They said that they also confirmed that Adam Cole has not formally been offered full-on like new contract by WWE. But they were told that it's obviously planned, and that it should be reiterated that all indications are that Adam Cole and the higher ups in NXT have great relationships. And then we learned that Adam Cole was backstage at SmackDown, and he had a meeting with Vince McMahon, and allegedly, according to Dave Meltzer and whoever else has insiders and stuff like that, that he was off, or they offered him $1 million a year, and that's a big jump, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, wrestling fans, but I believe Adam Cole is probably making $100,000 a year, and so $1 million a year is a big jump. That's a large number. I don't know if that's true. I certainly think he's worth it. He's big time to me, in my opinion. He's somebody who I think that is very, very important. And if you want eyes and popularity and good wrestling on your TV show, then Adam Cole is a great guy to start with after we're done with Goldberg and Cena and Orton and Lashley and, all these other old guys that are still with the company, Hardy, So, yeah, I don't know, man. They said that he had a meeting with Vince McMahon and it went well. Vince liked him on a personal level, and that he did not stay for the show. All this happened before SmackDown went on the air, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Adam Cole. I call it the Adam Cole Sweepstakes. My opinion, I think Adam Cole should stay with WWE. I know a lot of people think that he should get the hell out of there. I know a lot of people were speculating that Bobby Fish being released doesn't help the Adam Cole Sweepstakes for WWE. If he's about his bag, it's fuck Bobby Fish, honestly. If he's about his bag, it's not about anybody else. It's about him and what's best for his family. I believe if he... Oh, and there was also... I guess the report also said that they have creative plans for him and that they want him on the main roster. So, if they want you, if they, they say they got plans for you, and yeah, that could all be bullshit. But hey, Adam Cole has all the leverage right now. He could literally walk and go wherever he wants right now. He doesn't have to do anything. So I don't know. I said on In the Click podcast, I was recording last night. Shout out to Baby Huey and my guy Philip from the Bullet Cast. I said on In the Click last night that I felt like if I'm Cole, I'm going in there and I'm making sure that Vince wants me. Like, I'm not going in there begging for my job. I'm going in there to make sure that they want me, that they're begging for me to stay. And we all know Vince McMahon has a huge ego and he ain't going to beg for nobody. But, I mean, if he likes you, he's going to, do right by you. And I think Adam Cole's done right by WWE. He's done right by NXT. So they should do right by him, and they should offer him a lot of money, and they should make sure that his creative is on point and not just fire him in, a few months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. I don't know. A lot of people are afraid for those guys in NXT, which I'm going to get to. I guess I can just segue right into that. The reports about NXT, PW Insider reported and said that WWE has plans to repackage NXT with a new logo, new lighting, different format to the shows. It was also said that the idea is for there to be more of a focus on younger talent going forward, and that the house cleaning appeared to be part of working towards that direction, for better or for worse. Now, this puts guys like Ciampa, Gargano, Raquel, Dakota Kai. Who else? It's a lot. Shit more. Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. And we all know that they obviously want Adam Cole, so I'm not too worried about that. But everybody else, it's kind of like, what happens with them? Are they going to get called up? Are they going to be mixed in with this draft that we're going to get here in a couple of months? What's going to happen with the rest of whatever's left of the NXT roster? What do they mean when they say they want to go with younger talent going forward? Do they want to go back to the more developmental approach? Do they want to revamp the show to make it a young, fresh, to try and gain back some of that audience that they lost? I don't know, man. I don't know. In my opinion, I think they should I think it's good. A revamp is always good, in my opinion. Revamp, redesign. New logos always fun, fresh. I think they should get the hell out of the CWC. I think they should get somewhere. I don't even think they should go back to Full Sail. I know a lot of you think that they should, but I don't even think they should go back to Full Sail. But I don't know. I don't know the options. There's not many options when it comes to NXT. I know they're very limited. But yeah, I mean, what do you have to lose? You do whatever you can, do whatever you want. To repackage it and make it appealing. Because I said this on a few of my reviews before. Like, WWE is not, appealing. It's not fun. They're not popular. AEW is popular right now. They're working with everybody. They're like the fresh new toy, and you just want to play with it over and over and over because you have so much fun with it. That old toy is not fun anymore. It's dingy. It's banged up. It's like back in the day when I had a Shawn Michaels toy, and I had several of them because I had one with blue pants, one with white pants, one with the green DX pants, the red DX pants from WrestleMania 14, the white ones from WrestleMania 12. The black ones from when he fought Mankind at I believe it was Mind Games in Your House. I know I'm stupid analogy, stupid comparison, but I'm just saying y'all get what I'm trying to say. AEW is so popular right now. WWE doesn't stand a chance unless they do something completely different. And when you have a business, and business comes first as always. It's just like, hey, it's time to revamp. It's time to fix things, and I think, honestly, revamping NXT would be a good look. And then maybe pushing some of these older guys that are on the NXT brand up to Raw because like I said, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Edge, Cena, Bobby Lashley, Goldberg, a lot of these guys should be gone or just fizzled out and not really used. Not so much Randy Orton. Randy Orton can still go. But again, we haven't seen him since fans came back. So I don't know what the hell's going on with Randy. But again, another long-winded explanation. But you guys get what I'm trying to say, man. You guys understand. You guys know. But that's that. NXT getting a revamp, according to PW Insider. We'll see. Adam Cole reportedly offered a $1 million deal. We'll see. Ball's in his court. I hope he does whatever makes him happy. Don't listen to the shit on the internet. I don't really care about him reuniting with his friends. He can still see his friends. His wife works there, so he can still hang out and see his friends. And I think that would do nothing for AEW at all, and for him. He could potentially be at the top if done right, and if done right by WWE, he could be a big factor in WWE. Not AEW. Not with the rumors of Bryan and Punk and Hangman and all this other shit going on. No, not a good look. But let's move on. Speaking of AEW, Ruby Soho, formerly known as Ruby Riott, is reportedly headed to AEW. Now, according to Fightful, they said that the AEW women's division looks to be getting a shot in the arm in the form of respected WWE alumni. Tony Khan's specialty. They were told that the plans call for Ruby Soho to make her way into the company, according to talent and industry insiders, as far as they know. Ruby's non-compete clause is up shortly before All Out. And since Soho has been released, she kept a very low profile, barely doing any interviews and no appearances or signings. And that one promoter even said that they reached out to her as far back as a month ago and was told that Ruby wasn't taking any bookings. They haven't learned of any creative plans in order for Ruby at this time, and have not confirmed this news with AEW. Talent that they have spoken to across the companies have unanimously glowing reviews about Ruby Soho's work, attitude, and backstage demeanor. So I don't know. Whenever I see reports like that, it's like I'm automatically like, oh yeah, okay. She's gone. She's going to AEW for sure. I don't know. But then I saw something floating around the internet, some wrestling project, and it looked like Ruby was associated with it. It's like a little vignette. It looked like it didn't show her face, but like showed the ring gear and the boots and stuff like that. And it just resembles Ruby. So I don't know. Maybe it's a big swerve. Maybe she's not going to AEW. I don't know. In my opinion, I wouldn't be mad if she did. I think she should. I think they need her. She's extremely talented, and you know the AEW women's roster needs a lift, if you will. I want to talk about real quick Max Caster, his comments that he made on AEW Dark. I know, you know, we've all you guys have probably heard about it multiple times. And it's been talked about already. But the fact that it got through, you know, all the editing and producers and whoever, you know, stuff like that goes through, the fact that it went 6 days without getting looked at or edited or taken out or anything is what's really, really crazy to me. And Tony Khan was on, I believe he was on Busted Open, and he made a comment on it, and he said that his rap was terrible, and he said he was not out there in the moment that he did it, and it was not during Dynamite. He said he was out back when Max did his rap. He said he had not heard it until it actually aired, and he said truthfully, he said in the editing process, should have been caught. He says that they deleted the episode and reposted it with it edited out, but it shouldn't have aired. He said he put such tight controls on Dynamite, and this would never happen there because Max raps, you know, he's always gone over them with him. Well, Tony, you should have gone over them with him for AEW Dark as well. Like, just because it's not on Dynamite doesn't mean you don't oversee these things. This is why you got to hire professionals. You got to have people who, you know, I'm not saying necessarily write the shit, but you got to have people that go out there to be like, okay, what are you going to say? Oh, no, I don't think you should say that. Or if he says it, you know, you got to have professionals that's going to bleep that out and edit that out so that it doesn't. I mean, Roman made the joke about missionary position, and it was edited immediately off of WWE's YouTube, like right as it got put up. So I just don't understand. Again, I feel Vince now when he says things like, I don't consider them competition, and because it's just like, what if he says this would never happen? Tony says this would never happen on Dynamite, but I highly doubt that that's true. I know that this would happen on Dynamite. I know that he's willing to you know, push the issue and be edgy on Dynamite. Not enough fucking people watch Dark anyways, and maybe that's why he felt like he could get away with it, but nope, not today. Couldn't get away with it. But he says he doesn't script or write wrestlers promos. But he said he does give bullet points. He says in this case it shouldn't have happened, and what will happen going forward is that he will take over the editing of Dark and Elevation himself. He says he was already editing Dynamite and Rampage, and he says he does a lot. He says now he'll also be editing Dark and Elevation. So he said it's unfortunate that it came to that. Well, yeah, it's unfortunate that you weren't editing your show. You should have been editing it or foreseeing it or going over it or doing everything in the first place. None of this should ever happen. Things like this should not happen. I don't know, man. Shame on Max Caster too. And I saw his little, reply on Twitter, replying to, I don't know if it was Dave LaGreca or from Busted Open, and he was like, "Thanks, Dave. I think everybody liked it and had a good time. It was great to be a part of the 100th episode." No, you should apologize and say you're sorry. And I mean, my apologies if he already did, but from what I saw, he hadn't apologized. He didn't say anything about it. They're just going to fucking treat it like it doesn't even fucking matter. And it doesn't make sense. And I think that that's stupid. So, it is what it is. The fact that it made it past so many levels of approval is just ridiculous. Tony Khan, don't let that shit happen again. I was going to sit here and go over Raw and NXT and AEW, but I'm just going to kind of, I guess, go over some bullet points, if you will. Like some of the big things that happen over the shows. I'm not going to sit here and go over every single fucking match. You guys know what happened. You guys saw what happened throughout the week. One thing I want to talk about across all WWE shows right now is the championship contender match situation. What the get this shit out of here. We need to just get rid of the championship contender situation altogether. It doesn't make any sense. Champions shouldn't be losing. Number one contenders shouldn't be pinning champions in order to, every once in a while, I wouldn't mind. I don't think it should be a number one contenders match. It should kind of just be like a regular match. And if someone gets an upset over a champion, then that's one thing, right? But putting them in a number one, like, hey, I'm putting you in a championship contenders match, and if you beat the champion, then you get a championship match. Like, I don't know. I think I just think it's fucking dumb, man. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of rematches. Another rematch with Karrion Kross and Keith Lee. Keith Lee was able to pick up the victory, so that's cool. I hope they move on. Nikki Ash and Charlotte Flair tore it up. Of course, the Queen City. Of course, Charlotte Flair is going to, again, like I said, elevate talent, put talent in better position to succeed and thrive. The Queen does that. That's what she does. It's not a surprise to me. Reggie, again, 24/7 championship defended on Raw. So that's cool. Goldberg came out and cut like this really weird promo on Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley just stood in the ring, didn't say a word. It was really, really cringy. His Goldberg's son was in the crowd, looked super uncomfortable during the segment. MVP and Bobby Lashley kind of got in his face at ringside and was like, "I'm going to kick your dad's ass," and blah, blah, blah. And then MVP took the spear from Goldberg, and then his son hopped over the barricade, and Goldberg and his son walked back up the ramp. But he one or two things. He either, was nervous, or he just looked like he just did not want to fucking be there doing that. So, cringy situation. Drew McIntyre continuing to try to win the crowd over, get them involved, keep them involved. So kudos to Drew McIntyre for that. Nia Jax got like a big cut over her or under her left eye or on her left eye or something. Managed to continue the match against Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, of course, picked up the victory. Yeah, man. Shout out to Nia Jax. Doesn't get the respect that she deserves. A lot of people think she's an unsafe worker and things like that, but I think she's decent, man. She's not that bad. She's better than fucking Eva Marie. I'm still surprised. I'm like, my mind is like boggling, like boing, like the fact that Eva Marie hasn't had like a legit match yet. Hasn't had like it's so crazy to me. I don't think that, when people start to talk about, oh, this person's gone, but Eva Marie is still there, I think that's unfair, and I think that that's dumb. I'm not saying that she should be fired, but they got to figure out what they want her to do. I mean, this whole dewdrop thing is kind of getting boring as well. Like, is she really just like, is this falling into the holes or into the bottom of the dumpster, if you will? Is this whole script, is this whole situation failing? Are people forgetting that Eva Marie and Dewdrop are in this situation? And I don't know. They always do this, and they seem to not know how to get themselves out. But yeah, man, like I said, the Queen City, as you know, her and Nikki Ash had a banger. Tables and all, chairs, kendo sticks, you name it. Charlotte Flair didn't pick up the win. Nikki Ash, of course, won. But look, man, in order to be great, sometimes you got to take the L. You got to take the L. Like I said, she elevated Nikki Ash. She put her in position. She made her look like a real superhero on Monday night. All right, now it's time for the Queen to turn up, and I know and I'm confident that she's gonna win that Raw Women's Championship back. So mark my words, the Queen City will be victorious at SummerSlam. She's gonna finally put Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley. I don't know why she's in this damn match, but she's gonna finally put the both of them down in great fashion. It's gonna be the summer of Flair. You know it. The summer or the fall of Flair, if you will. I think I like the fall of Flair better. NXT was on Tuesday. Got your regulars. You got Hit Row, Legado del Fantasma went at it. Hit Row picked up the victory via disqualification. Who else they had going on? They had Johnny Gargano against Dexter Lumis. Grizzled Young Vets defeated LA Knight and Cameron Grimes. Roderick Strong defeated Bobby Fish. Ridge Holland made his return, and he went in there with Ike Manjaro, defeated him. And then Johnny Gargano defeated Dexter Lumis in the love her or lose her match. But it seems as though Index is in full effect, and we're going to get Index being together anyways. It's time for them to turn that story up too and add some perspective. And like, are the Way going to be together now, or are they going to be separate? Like, what's going on, man? I don't know. But NXT was okay. Karrion Kross provoked Samoa Joe yet again. Security attempted to intervene, but the NXT champion got under the skin of Samoa Joe. And you already know what Samoa Joe was going to do. You already know what he did. Trey Baxter defeated Joe Gacy in the first round of the NXT Breakout Tournament. It's just sad, man. When you talk about and when you watch NXT and when any WWE programming now, it's just like when you know the releases that have happened, it's just really sad, man. It's pretty crazy. It's unfortunate. But yeah, that was NXT. You guys basically know what happened. AEW, go over quick AEW notes. Juventud Guerrera, Chris Jericho, man, I was super excited about this match. Started off very, very crazy, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It started off bad. Juventud cannot move and cannot go as quickly as he used to, obviously, but I still kind of felt like, he's the same age as Rey Mysterio, so I felt like they would still kind of have some, chemistry, and he'd be able to, be quicker than a hiccup, as Jim Ross would say, and as he did say. But Juventud was everything but quicker than a hiccup that night on Dynamite. Jericho picked up the win, though, with a super Judas effect, spinning Judas effect off the top rope. Got beat up by Wardlow, who's obviously going to be the fourth laborer. And MJF is going to be ringside for that match. Super underwhelming. No one really cares about that. Red Velvet came out and challenged Britt Baker to a title match. I was super excited about that because I was wondering, where the hell is Red Velvet? Where the hell is Scorpio Sky? Where the hell is Big Swole? When Everrise, who is now known as 2.0 in AEW, they show up on AEW Dark and cut a promo backstage with Danny Garcia, and they just get a match on Dynamite automatically with John Moxley, Eddie Kingston, and Darby Allin. I thought that was crazy, but it was nice to see Red Velvet finally come out, challenge for the title. She's won 7, her last 7 matches dating back to what, I don't know, May maybe. So that's cool. I know she's gonna lose. Rampage, Pittsburgh. She's not gonna win, but it's still cool that she's getting an opportunity. Hopefully that she doesn't get lost in the fold and get shuffled right back to Dark or Elevation, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen either way. The Elite beat up Hangman, and the Dark Order tried to help, but Evil Uno and Stu Grayson held them back because Hangman said he didn't want them to help anymore. He wanted to go his separate ways. So got to respect Hangman for wanting to do this on his own. It was kind of sad because it's just like, damn, he really ain't got no other friends other than the Dark Order, and he told them not to help him. So that was kind of crazy. I don't know what's going on with that story. If he's gonna possibly, we learned that Christian Cage is #1 contender for the world title, but I know that Kenny and Hangman is not over. I don't know how long they're trying to stretch it. I know with the speculation of CM Punk at the United Center for Rampage the night before SummerSlam on Friday, August 20th. I know that they're CM Punk's supposed to debut there and whatnot, but then there was talks of him debuting at All Out, and that's why they didn't want Hangman to win the title there. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen, but Christian is the #1 contender. They revealed that on Dynamite, so I don't know. Maybe he'll get the match at All Out. Who knows? They announced the Rampage announce team. Going to be Taz, Excalibur, Chris Jericho, and Mark Henry. I don't know why they would go with a 4-man booth. I don't know if this means that Chris Jericho and Mark Henry are going to be there permanently. Like, if is this going to be the 4-man group that we see every Friday on Dynamite? Because they switch off a lot, even for Dark and Elevation. Like, they have a lot of guests, commentators, and things like that. So I don't know, man. I think the 4-man is unnecessary. But we'll see. We'll see how it works. Malachi Black, Cody in the main event. He squashes Cody. There was a table spot that was very underwhelming and looked kind of ridiculous, but I'm going to let it slide because Malachi Black absolutely did his thing, picked up the victory over Cody Rhodes, and then attacked him after the match when it looked like Cody was going to retire as he gave a speech and went to take his boot off to leave in the ring. I don't know what that means. I don't know, if he's actually retiring. I honestly think he should take some time off, though. Take some time. Go spend some time with your newborn baby, and then come back bigger and better than ever. I'm sticking with my story. I still think that Cody, the AEW should do some type of World War III Battle Royal, 60-man Battle Royal. I know he said he'd never challenge for the AEW World title again because he lost that match. But I think if he came back in a creative way and somehow put his EVP on the line, like, hey, I'll give up being EVP if I'm able to compete in this match to get an opportunity to have a shot at the world title again. I think that would be dope. I think he will in general either way, but I think he should come back to like a huge babyface pop, make it a big ass deal. Cody Rhodes is back and have some good meaningful feuds for him, because a lot of his feuds, a lot of his rivalries with people are sort of mid. I'm not gonna lie, sort of trash. So hopefully we get that, man. That's pretty much it for AEW. Not gonna go over SmackDown because I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I honestly didn't really watch much of SmackDown because of the releases. I will do my best. I guess I'll go over the results. I can go over the results to SmackDown. I mean, I watched it. I was watching a little bit of it. Bianca Belair came out after Sasha Banks came out and talked about, won the championship back. Zelina Vega came out and complained she wanted her match that she was promised. Bianca Belair said she would defend the title, which ended up, she accepted it, but then it ended up getting reversed and changed from a championship match to a championship contenders match because they said that, she'd been losing, and then, Bianca doesn't make matches, but I don't know, John Cena literally signed his name on a contract that didn't say his name. I don't know. It is what it is. So Zelina Vega had to go up against Bianca Belair in a non-title championship challengers match, and then if she could prove herself, they didn't specify if she won. They just said if she could prove herself, then she'll get the winner of Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, which leads me to believe that she's probably going to get the winner of Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, even though she didn't win the match. I felt like if they wanted it to be if she won the match or not, they would have put extra emphasis on that and specified it. Jey Uso defeated Dominic Mysterio. Nakamura in the championship contenders match defeated Apollo Crews via disqualification because Commander Aziz got involved. Don't know why he would do that. Kind of makes Apollo Crews look like a chump. Again, championship contenders match that shouldn't have happened. Tegan Nox defeated Tamina. Don't know why. Tamina, who's one half of the tag team champions, is losing. We already know that Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart are probably going to, they're obviously number one contenders, but they're probably going to win the championships also. But Natalya is injured right now, and she said that she's going to be out for, I don't know, a month or maybe a few months or something like that. I don't know. Edge challenged Seth Rollins to a match at SummerSlam. They were going back, a war of words, back and forth. Rollins was via satellite. Edge was in the arena. They had a good exchange, in my opinion. I'm excited for this match. Don't know who I want to win, though. Seth Rollins, Edge. I think Seth Rollins needs it. It'll further put him in this light like, oh, my God. He needs that heat. He needs it. But then Edge needs to win, too. He's been losing a lot as of late. But does he really need to win? I don't know. He's not going to be there forever. But does he really need to win? I don't think so. Street Profits defeated the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. I think we're kind of done seeing this match. We got to see it in the fucking Thunderdome for the longest. Bianca Belair defeated Zelina Vega. Early distractions by Sasha Banks, but she was able to overcome them, hit her with the KOD and picked up the victory. So I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to the match, so I don't know if she did well enough to earn a championship match or not, but it is what it is. Finn Balor defeated Baron Corbin with coup de grace. And then afterwards, Finn Balor talked his shit. He had a lot to say to the Tribal Chief and to John Cena and all that. Tribal Chief came out, and then him and the Usos pretty much beat the Prince down. They put him away. And that was pretty much it. Reigns put him in the guillotine, and they stood over them. The Bloodline stood over him, holding up their championships, and that's all she wrote. That was pretty much it. By that point, I think you all can agree as well. I was not paying attention to SmackDown. I was trying to get information on the releases. I was tweeting about that, engaging in conversations, and really just couldn't believe it and didn't understand what the hell was happening. So, it is what it is. But yeah, man, that's it. That's all I pretty much got. There's not really much else to talk about. Like I said, this is episode 1. This is more of a pilot. So the direction, real quick, before I get out of here, I just want to tell you guys the direction of this show. The direction I kind of want with this show, the episodic flagship show, if you will. I'm most likely going to have a guest. I'm going to try to have a guest with me every episode. And we'll see, maybe we can talk about things that's going on in the wrestling world, not so much the reviews. I'm going back to the reviews, so I'll be back Monday night with the Raw review, Tuesday SmackDown, Wednesday AEW, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We'll be doing more reviews. I'm getting back to that. But my flagship shows, I want to do that once a week. Drop those every Sunday, just to kind of do a recap of whatever has happened throughout the week. And hey, if there's no juicy news or story in the wrestling world for that week, then I'll just get on here and maybe we can talk about certain highlights from all the wrestling shows, what I liked, what I didn't like, and then maybe we'll do some special episodes here and there. I know I'd started off when I started this podcast. I did a Monday Nitro review and I called it like a throwback episode, but I think I'm going to scrap that idea and kind of just, hey, if I want to do an episode where I talk about Nitro or where I talk about Sunday Night Heat or Velocity or Anarchy Rules, ECW, or fucking, I don't know, Clash of Champions, who knows, then that's what I'll do. But yeah, man, so this, I guess, is episode 1, the pilot episode, if you will. I know it's a little long-winded. I feel like, oh my God, I've been talking forever. But again, we still get in the swing of things. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. I know that a lot of this shit is kind of like, well, we just heard the shit. This shit's been happening. It's been going down. Maybe I'll try and implement some of the things as well, like maybe little news stories throughout the week. And then once I have a guest on for the flagship show, it'll be easier to have more in-depth conversation about these situations and these things that's been going on in the wrestling world. So stay tuned. I got shit coming, like I said. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Much appreciated. Thank you for everybody that's listening. Everyone that's subscribed to the podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, I appreciate you. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. WithinTheRopesPodcast.com. Click on whatever platform you use to listen to podcasts. Every episode is going to be up on YouTube as well. So you can go to YouTube, search up Within the Ropes Podcast. You'll see it right there. Follow Within the Ropes on Twitter and Instagram at Within the Ropes. Follow me at Brian Tronic on Twitter and Instagram as well. And what else? I think that's it. I think I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I got to get an intro, man. I need Greg Hamilton to say, from the Queen City. You're listening to Within the Ropes. I need him to say that. Or shit, maybe I could say that. Maybe I can have somebody else. Maybe I don't have to have Greg Hamilton say it. I don't know. Anybody out there that's listening to this, if you want to provide me with a drop, or if you know somebody who could provide me with a drop, holla at me. Okay? Let me know. Please. Yeah, that's it, man. I'm not going to fucking bore you with a bunch of ums, and try and find something else to say. Y'all know what it is. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, wrestling fans. Have a good night.